Kia ora koutou katoa. Hello everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful week last week, and you've keeping yourself as entertained as well and as much as possible, and through this time. And so it kind of brings me to this little talk that I'm doing today, and it's about should. And you may have been shoulding yourself. And because I know I did a couple of times last week. And it's really interesting because I saw a post where a friend of mine had put up a post about are you shoulding yourself? And I thought, yes, I had been actually. And I thought, wow, that was an interesting, that, and I thought, okay, that's an opportunity for me to have a wee chat about something, and my process through that. And I guess, and I did go to that space of, of saying, oh gosh, I should have done this or I should do that. But I didn't, I did something else. And that's okay. Because when I do go there nowadays, it's not in the way that I used to go there before. And, and often, I just want to say that you're not alone, basically. And often, like when we do go there and we make, statements with, should in it, and we say, oh, I should do that, or I should have done that, we inevitably start thinking or going into that space of thinking and, thinking of things, of thinking, overthinking basically about it. And it brings about that feeling of guilt, and we start judging ourselves and judgment, and which starts to lead us, through our thoughts into this like a downward spiral within us, and and you probably can feel it. And I've noticed I changed the words around because I was actually going to say, that guilt and that judgment starts leading to a downward spiral within. And now you could probably feel it a bit differently. And I kind of feel like I might be picking up on some of you who are going through that or had gone through that and possibly may go through that again. So it's about breaking that cycle, basically. So and it really comes down to, how, depending on how quickly we can pull ourselves out of that place and lift our energy up and change our mind thought around it depends on our relationship with ourselves. And so, and I say that because, and you will always hear me, or quite often hear me talking about, it's about working on ourselves and discovering who it is we are, what makes us tick, what makes us talk, what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses and that sort of thing in certain different areas of our life. And, and this, doing this and should is really, when we do go to this place of saying should, I should do this or I should have done that, or I should, go here, or, I should, have, or whatever. We can, like I say, we can go to that place of self-judgment and and therefore we end up feeling, have that feeling of guilt that we haven't done it. And so it's about looking a little bit deeper in there with that. It's like, where does that guilt come from? Where does that self-judgment come from? Is that a limiting? Is that a belief, that we've been brought up with, that it should be done this way, or it should be done that way, or we should do that because of this, we should do that because of that, this because of that, and there's so much out there. But so my point is, like, if you have been shooting yourself, be kind to yourself in the sense, it's like taking ownership of only what is yours, depending on the situation, and letting the rest go. And, we go, and I go back to the relationship with ourselves is like, discovering it. It's like, what are we, where are we going with that? Does it serve us any purpose for our highest good by going there and, putting blame on ourselves or putting that guilt on ourselves, and judging ourselves for that should, or any other should for that matter. And so being kind to yourself. And when we've built that relationship with ourselves, we tend not to go there as deep as we had done, if at all. It might just pop up, and then within that instant, I'm able, for me, I'm able to like shift it quite quickly. Because I know me, and my reasoning and the tools that I have, but my relationship with me mostly is, and with the tools that I have used, I'm able to shift from that quickly and identify what that is about. And then, the more we do that, the more less likely we're able to create a should at the end of the day. And if we do go there, create that should, we do go there with that, those thought patterns in our mind, we're quite quickly able to identify it and shut it down. And, sometimes those are little signs for us as well that we maybe need to show up for ourselves, or there may be someone in our lives that may be going through a should experience, and we may be able to help them out. So sometimes, it's brought up, it comes up for a reason, that's bigger than ourselves as well. The other side of that is, like going back, just retracking back again, reeling back, behind that should, it's like, what was the intention of what that, that should, or before we get to the should, that subject, that situation, that project or whatever, what is it, behind that should, and the intention behind it. So, because it's like, if it's something, for instance, say, like for me, an example is last week I was, I have my routine and of things to do, and I got distracted, and I come back and I started to should. I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone done this thing rather than going, let myself get distracted and go and do that. However, which meant that, I got behind in something else. But that's on my routine. At the end of the day, I was able to, this is where I'm going with that should, I ended up being able to turn that one into a could. So, and yes, even though I did do that should thing there, and I shouldn't have done that because I ended up, but actually I did do it. So it's taking ownership for I did do it. And at the end of the day, what that was, and I could have made another choice, but I didn't. And so it's about living with that. So that's what I mean about that could. So it turns out that the other thing that I said I shouldn't have gone that way because I got distracted from that way was actually a good thing a good thing in disguise, because I ended up finding out some more information that was to do with another project that I have on the boiler. So, and that event came about, that I was going to do something. So this may be happening to you as well. You may be intending to go and do something, and you may have got distracted to going to do something else. And in that something else, you might have, end up cleaning up a cupboard or finding something and sitting down and looking at that, which is what happened to me, and looking at something else. And then, oh gosh, before I knew it, the time was away. And then I thought, okay, now I've got to do this, this and that. However, like I say, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And, and I looked back and it's like, okay, yep, there were some other things that I needed to tend to. But then I looked at it, the bigger pictures that I looked at it, and I was able to adjust it anyway, my routine or my regime, and fit it in anyway. So, and then I looked at it at the sense, well, I can do that tomorrow. It's not something that I need to do right now or I have to do right now. So, but it's something more that I wanted to do right now. And, so I was able to look at it and, quite quickly and then realize actually, it's okay. And I can live with that. So I didn't go into the should space where I could have gone in the past, gone spiraled right down and got right on top of myself. But I'm not in that space. And so it was a quick process for me. And anyway, so yeah, there may be things like that may have come up for you. And it's, but but what I'm hearing, and what I know is like, don't overdo it. From experience, it's like, don't overdo it, don't overthink it. It's about, putting that intention behind it, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, and if it is really a need or want or a have to do. But it's also about making that choice about whether about what it is. If you're intended to do it, the choice in it is like, stay centered and focused and do it. So you don't go into that, downward spiral of shooting yourself if you're one of those people, or if you're at that stage. But like I say, the more we stick with our intentions, and the more that changeability and that versatility we have within ourselves, within our mind, within our being, within our knowing of who we are, and how we tick, we can easily, turn that around, switch that around, because we know within ourselves that we're able to, and our mind and our thought frame is different. It's different to what it used to be. So it is about really working on yourself. So, and and then the other side of things is, when I brought in the could, it's something, sometimes a should could be a could. So, and it's about, like I was briefly said before, it's about, is that something I really needed to do? Is it something that I have to do or had to do? Or is it something that I just want to do, So it's kind of like, weighing it up in that way as well. So, and I've been, for me, like I say, I'm quite quickly able to shift that around. And it's about like looking at what, your intention and is, if you have it, like a list or a routine, your daily, routine or your weekly routine, your goals list and that, or your plan. It's about, even then, being adaptable to it, because things in life happen. And just like now, you want to be found to, like now you will be finding it a little bit, some of you or some of us, finding it a little bit, challenging, adapting to this lifestyle that we're in at the moment. And so it's actually really good, because we're like, if you're going through a shooting phase, and right now it's a really good space to to explore that side of, why are you shooting all the time, and why do I let myself, because this is the thing, is like, why do I let myself down, is that we go into that space. And that's because we're making, choices that we know we could have made. So this is why we go there, because, we know there are choices that we could have made that differently to create, which would have created a different outcome. So this is where our guilt and our self-judgment comes from. So it really comes back to us being honest with ourselves. And when we're honest with ourselves, we more likely have a really lovely, amazing relationship with ourselves, where we don't, where we cut through the bullshit, other people's bullshit, but we also are able to cut through our own bullshit and live with it, accept it, grow with it, love that part of ourselves, have a bit of fun with ourselves, and not putting ourselves and running ourselves down to the, down to the gutter and everything like that. But it's like we're realizing that actually, that we can lift ourselves up as well by not going there, and not allowing ourselves to go there through the choices that we make, because that's inevitably, that is usually the crux of it, is that we have actually made a choice not to honour ourselves, not to value ourselves in that way, of allowing it, in that way of one, not going through or not fulfilling our intention, but in that sense, but also it's not seeing the bigger picture, and allowing ourselves to go in that downward spiral as well. So there's a whole lot of things that stream off it. So I feel like some of you will be at different stages with it. And so this is the work that I do, is helping people to, pull out those bits and pieces to lift their energy up, and a lot of the healing work that I do. But and so there's a healing coaching, life coaching sort of thing, energy that's combined in there with readings as well. So but that's, and that's what I do. And so hopefully that has helped you in some way. So those are a couple of the ways that I, for me, what I look at within myself is really in it. that has really helped me. But basically, it's like choose wisely, choose wisely about what you're going to do with your intention. And, and like I say, it's like, don't beat yourself up. It's like, we do that, and we make that mistake, we make it a different, we make that choice, whatever way you like to talk about. We have another opportunity to not go there again. Okay. And there was, and you never know. And if you explore what is in that should, there's always usually a solution to that. So, and some of the solutions is actually like, I could do that later. And the other solution is, because that could go in a could basket. I could do that later. I could have done that, but I didn't. So there's that taking ownership of it, which actually releases a big part of it. And it's like, I'm not going to go there again. And it's like watching, having a good think about where you have placed that on your to-do list, as per se, or on your priority list. Is that an A, B, C, or D? And have you, and how flexible and versatile is it? So if it's an A, and obviously, or a number one priority, depending on which way your list is, for me, number one is the first thing that's on my list that I'm going to do, or, I'm going to go to first. So, you know what I mean? And so it's about like having a look at it. And then actually, you may get to that point where you actually realize that actually that may not be a number one on the day or at the time. So it was actually a number three. So it's actually having a look at the bigger picture with it as well. So anyway, so there are lots of things that, there are lots of different tools, but definitely do the breathing one. Take a moment, do a meditation, take a moment, do that three breaths in, 3 breaths out, count 3 in, count 3 out, okay? And then doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to distract your mind, to shift it to a positive thoughts, and a thought where you're going to find a solution, to shift the focus, shift the energy, basically, or go back to that should and actually do it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's thinking outside of the square, and then loving yourself. So. On that note, I hope that it's kind of like helped you in some way, and like snapped you out of that little shitty space that you're in at the moment, and that you have been, and and yeah, love, peace, harmony, and joy. So I'm just going to leave with you with something that I have learned and still practice. Not every day, but often, and it comes to mind, is I love and approve of myself. And I know and that's like from Louise Hay, it's an affirmation that's a very famous affirmation. And it's something that I quite often will go back to, is that phrase or that affirmation is going into that space and taking that breath in, or doing that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and going into I love and approve of myself. And you can extend in that no matter what. It's bringing that back to I love and approve of myself. And then it's also going about is actually what is right about this that I haven't seen as well. When you go into that should. I forgot to say that phrase. So, yeah. Anyway. So, I love and approve of myself. Just keep saying that all the time. To yourself in the mirror, even if you have to fake it till you make it. It's just keep saying it, because it's like you'll start to feel it, that energy shift. And I say fake it till you make it, because I know when you go in the mirror, if you've not done this before, you're going to see it, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to think it. Oh God, this feels really fake. This feels really awkward. That's why I say just fake it till you make it. Keep going. And you'll start and feel your energy change, and then buy into that beautiful change of energy. And then I love and approve of myself. God bless you. Bye for now.